we can go way back in time, if need be, to say, hey, what started this journey for this customer? Because the hardest click to earn is the first one. And so we're always trying to be like, hey, what got them first interested in your brand? And we find enough of those reverse engineered journeys, that's where you want to spend most of your budget. Because what you'll find is once all the retargeting and all those other, that's valuable, but you need to spend more than half of your budget on trying to find new people to first become aware. That first click or two. And usually before the click, there's viewing and there's AI chatter happening before. And so we're trying to always figure, so our strategic edge is, one, you don't overspend on bottom of the funnel somewhere, but two, where do you spend your top of the funnel dollars that lead to your overall business goal, which is usually new customers. You want new people. And so we measure new versus repeat, whereas the platforms blend it all in together because it looks way better when half of the conversions they claim are probably repeat buyers. They're already buying off email. Well, then like Meta or Google says, hey, look, I sold another thing for you. And they didn't. It was your email that did it. So.
Hello everyone. Welcome to another edition of the Super CMO Contraminds podcast. In this episode, I'm talking again with Scott Desgrosseilliers, CEO and founder of Wicked Reports, a leading attribution platform based out of the US. The last time I spoke to Scott, we really had a lot of fun talking about attribution, the challenges marketers face with big tech platforms in terms of attribution and how to optimize their marketing spends. Since the last time we spoke, AI has disrupted attribution algorithms as dark funnel AI and visible AI referral signals are increasingly difficult to track and measure. Scott spoke to me about the new platform that they are releasing and publishing as a part of the AI-led transformation that Wicked Reports is making, and he really then broke down his experience of how attribution is changing with AI. He specifically spoke to me about why websites must be AI ready and how they must be tagged for research-driven conversations. He also mentioned the fact that increasingly with AI, brands will become more and more important as you're 3 or 4 steps away from a click in the AI world. Therefore, he said marketers must be conversant with using attribution as not just reports that they look at, but having a conversation with AI platforms. Wicked Reports is becoming an AI-led platform where you could ask questions and answer will be there given the vast amount of knowledge they have built over a decade. So as a marketer, he mentioned that it is important to ask the right questions because the answers will be embedded in attribution platforms. So if you're a marketer, asking the right questions to manage your spend and understanding of how to build your attribution will become increasingly important. So you need to know the context before you ask your question. And that is going to be your biggest competitive differentiator and the expertise that you need to build. Let's go in and dive into my conversation with Scott Desgrosseilliers. Scott, I wanted to kick off this conversation with the impact of AI, right? And that has been absolutely, earth-shattering in the way attribution is going to change, right? Because the AI dark funnel, as we call it, okay, is really, really, getting up to speed, and literally the AI referral signals are increasingly difficult to capture, right? Because the conversation happens pretty much inside the the AI chats, and therefore typically your ability to do attribution is becoming far more difficult. So can you talk to me about what's changing since the advent of AI in the attribution market?
Sure. There's a couple phases to that. There's tracking, did AI refer? And then there's tracking, did those referrals, first, are you getting traffic from AI? Then there's, is that traffic amounting to anything? And now there's AI advertising. I've been experimenting with OpenAI ChatGPT ads. I can talk about those. And then the biggest one that we have been grappling with is that everyone's bolting AI on top of their data, either chatting, uploading a CSV, using an MCP server, or chatting within. But no one's really asking the question, at least I've seen, is the data you're pointing your AI at true? Because AI will take the data and then use what's called generative AI, which is amazing. It's awesome. But it's probabilistic, which without getting too nerdy, it means that it'll approximate or guess things or fill the gaps in. And when it's writing something for you, then it does a fantastic job. You're like, oh, that's great. But with data analysis, it's quite risky because you need something that's what's called deterministic, which has rules and has if, then, else, and has don't do this, if that. And you need those rules, which is based on a lot of expertise and measurements, a unique field, just like any unique niche. And without that expertise, you get steered the wrong way or you miss a lot of opportunity. So I've been grappling with all of those. So which one do you want to dive into first? I'd like to talk about all of them with you, though.
Yeah. So first, talk to me about how is AI changing this whole method and the algorithm of attribution. Maybe you can talk about that first, because many of our marketers who are listening to this conversation, I'm sure, are grappling with how do you really build attribution given how AI is changing search, right? So therefore,
Yes.
that's something that I would want you to talk, and then we will deep dive into many of the points that you just mentioned.
Okay. So yeah, what you're going to find, even with any attribution tool, you should find is that your search traffic is going down because AI's, Google has been foundation of a lot of people's businesses, and now most of the real estate it starts as a chat, and now it's changing to where you can chat back and forth with it. So if you're not on the first page, it's going to be a very desperate searcher, which, if you do get those clicks, they're probably quite valuable because someone's willing to sift through, but everyone's getting more impatient and used to a chat result that they're not really going to do that research unless it's a real pain point. I found it with a number of things recently where I had very niche things I needed to, like I had a weight dumbbell set of my son's that wasn't working right. And the AI kept giving me the wrong answer for the wrong product. And finally I had to scroll through, but it was only because I had exhausted the easy button. And so that's happening everywhere. And so your attribution tool, anything that's accurate, should show less traffic coming from search. That's pretty much going to happen across the board, unfortunately. But then how to change that is, there's a couple different ways of talking about it, but it's that you need to get more content that AI likes. So that starts with marking up your website AI friendly. And then, you can talk to AI to get all the specifics. So I won't go into all of them, but there's specific ways that AI likes to read your site. And then it needs unique information from you that it's not generic resource from elsewhere. So we're going to start publishing unique research that I talk about. We're going to start posting our unique research in an AI marked up format consistently. Then there's also, this isn't for everyone, but if you have an MCP server, which is a way of connecting your system to AI, you can give it instructions that help the AI learn more about your product or offering. And this isn't just for data. I saw someone that did a really good job of it for hiking trails.
Okay.
And they created an info source where it just pulled in some of its hiking trail data. So if you said, hey, I want to go on a hike and I have a 9-year-old child, it would then tell you which hikes in your area were best. which was a really unique way to do it. But also then AI starts referencing your product more, then that spreads through its brain basically, and then it becomes more well known. So there's some unique things that are very early adopter type things that can get you a big leg up. And I think that's one not a lot of people have done, because you think MCP server and it sounds like, oh, I have a big complicated software. I mean, we have one coming, but it could be for any business niche where you could post some basic stuff up there that's going to help people chat with your expertise better. Okay. And then you could, so that's one that I would highly recommend people start looking into, because it doesn't, the technical hurdles aren't great. I've been deep into AI and it's not insurmountable to create these things. You just need to have unique knowledge translated in a way AI likes. And so that's where the work is, but it's a 1-2 month project, not a year-long one.
So how do I convert my website into AI-friendly research content? Because sometimes what I really read from whatever I've kind of learned is, it's almost like you will start giving it a direct attribution when actually, AI has actually influenced, your visit to the website and things like that. So therefore, your ability to kind of build attribution, which is influenced versus direct, itself is actually changing, given that you are doing most of the stuff through AI search, right?
The first thing you should do, and anyone on this can do this very fast with AI, AI will help you help yourself. So the tagging is not elaborate. It's basically, so tagging, for those that I don't know what, normally a CMO level will understand this, but HTML is a way of tagging so that your browser understands what to display. And then behind the scenes, there's tags that don't display that used to be called meta tags, which would tell search engines about it. Very similar. There's certain tagging so that AI will understand the intent of the page, what it's about. To take it to the next level, though, AI likes, it's a computer type brain, so it likes FAQs and how-to guides. So you'll want those on the page, maybe at the bottom, or if it doesn't fit the page, you can put them in it's not going to show maybe on your page because you like the layout, but behind the scenes, you have a how-to or explanation for AI in the page. And you can do this by uploading your page to AI and saying, hey, I need to be better, more discoverable on AI. Here's my website. Here's my page. The intent of the page is this for this. So you want to be specific, not like it's about marketing is a great way to have no one reference it. Like ours would be like, for a particular page, this is about marketing attribution for people using Shopify and spending at least $20,000 a month and struggling because Google Analytics 4 doesn't give them what they need. So the longer the prompt that's more informative, the better. And that's generally true with AI in general. The more detailed it will give you exactly what to copy and paste into your website editor. And it'll be just this tagging where you'll go to like the code version of your website and you'll paste it in at the top or at the bottom. Or if you already have a script area that might, like with like HubSpot for our website, there's a little area where we put the meta tags for a search. Well, we'll add them for the AI as well. And then you paste it in whatever the tags are that it gives, or you might have to create some content and put in there. You paste it in, you hit save, and then you recheck your website, and it shouldn't show anything new unless you edited the WYSIWYG, the what you see, what you get area. But behind the scenes, AI will now know this stuff. You'll then go back to your chat and say, hey, I just updated. Can you confirm what would AI now interpret the page to be about? And so you do that. So that's the mechanics per page. But at a higher level strategy, real quickly, you would want to say I need to get more visible to AI. And then you would say who you are and what target market you have. And so for us, marketing attribution for e-commerce brands, 5 to 50 million in revenue. That are spending at least 20 grand a month. I want to be more visible for them. And then it will spit out all the questions that they're asking AI, which is valuable because AI will tell you, here's what people are asking, which then is the type of content you should be creating. So that's that helps you anyway with your strategy. But then based on those questions, it looks at your website and will surface probably some areas you didn't think that you needed, or other pages how you might need to repurpose, or some that you just want to text. Be some laundry list of action items, and you just go off, and then it's just work. You got to make someone, but it's not technically difficult work, is what I want to explain. It's just
Perfect.
it's more you got to have the expertise in your niche, which you should have. Or you don't have a business, hopefully.
Perfect. So therefore, the first thing in the attribution in the post AI era is about making your website AI ready, right? That's the first step that you're talking about. How is this connected with your MCP server? And can you just explain, with an example on if I were a brand, say e-commerce brand, looking at say beauty and cosmetics, how should I be looking at, using what you just said, which is an MCP server?
Sure.
How do I connect my content? And just if you can explain it with some analogy and example, that would actually really excite the listeners.
Yeah, actually, that beauty and health, it's a great example. So everyone's chatting with AI now, getting excited. Everyone likes new shiny stuff. So an MCP server, it technically sounds daunting, but it's not. What it means is I'm going to install something in my AI for me that's going to connect with my user credentials to some system, and then pull out either the data that I have in that system, or this is where it gets interesting, or the unique skills or knowledge of that brand. And that's where I want to take it for the beauty and the makeup. So beauty and makeup, let's contrast it with what we're doing, because ours is more a logical step. So we have proprietary data, and we have proprietary ways of analyzing things that we want our point of view in the AI with our data that's different than other data sources they're going to reference. So there's a way we need to instruct the AI, hey, this is why we're different. Here's how to use our data, how to compare. We have to give it instructions, because then the AI takes the data in, uses our instructions to help get the user to the outcome they're trying to get to, whatever question they're asking. Now with a beauty, let's just say you're trying to make your eyelashes look thicker. I have a couple daughters. So I'm trying to get my eyelashes look thicker for the prom or whatever. So what a beauty brand can do is have an MCP. So it has to be very easy to install. But basically they have a unique way they'll be able to capture leads this way. They can say, hey, you market it, use our AI tool to help look better for the prom or whatever. And so girls can be, oh, great, I want to do that. So they click a few buttons, and then they're in with their Chat GPT on their phone, or Claude, and probably Chat GPT, although Claude's more for the engineer types. And then when they've connected it, it means that whatever you've put into that MCP server, which we'll get into in a second, is now the AI is going to use whenever there are beauty questions asked. So when they say, so behind the scenes, the beauty brand is going to be, it's text files, and you're typing up your expertise. Like, what makes lashes more thick is, something to do with the brush that they use. I don't even know the terms. The brush that they use on their eyes, and all the gobbledygook marketing that goes into your lashes are thicker. Well, they put all that knowledge in there, called a skill. And so then they tell the AI, hey, when people are looking to make their eyebrows thicker or eyelashes, use our eyelash thickener skill. And it's a list of their expertise. And then separately, they'll have one that says, here are the products we recommend if they're trying to do that, which is, of course, what they really want. But you got to lead with advice first. So then you're in there chatting away. You get a helpful tip. And then naturally, you want products. We constantly have Sephora coming to the house. It's like mind-blowing how much money we spend on this. And so then it's going to naturally start recommending you. And then it will learn locally on that person. But it can spread then if it's successful. And so it's a real cutting-edge thing where you can get your expertise and point of view in there. And if you do it right and it's not all sales pitchy, then it can spread. And furthermore, then how my daughters and all their friends talk all the time. Obviously, they're like one hive connected mind themselves. That spreads. They're going to say, hey, look, I've got this cool AI tool that helped me with my makeup or whatever. And then other people will go download it, and you get a lead magnet that's very unique. And then you always have you're getting your best chance in front of your customers of.
So I'm trying to get this right. So this AI tool sits in your website, or does it sit independently in a chat GPT or in a cloud chat? Where does this sit? And therefore, if I were, say, Body Shop, okay, or if I were Sephora, uh, you know are you talking about the AI tool sitting in my website, or are you really talking about this AI tool being there in my because I have Claude, I have Chat GPT, and I'm chatting with it. So where is my brand really coming into in the conversation, and how is it connecting with the expertise skill based MCP server?
So you hire someone that creates the MCP server, which is it just lines of code. It doesn't actually have to sit anywhere as a server. It's just code in the form of different text files that know how to talk to each other. And then it's in a format that people can install it into their AI. No different than when you install a browser add-on. Shoppers install like Chrome extensions for coupons. Very common thing to do. Commonplace now. Hundreds of millions of people use them. When it first started, it was kind of like, huh, what? I got to install some in the browser? It's going to be very commonplace soon. So this is like cutting edge to do this. But it's installing something in the AI so that your brand's instructions are in the AI. And so it's a very new space. So people can't, you can't just go in and say, hey, Claude, always make people buy my eyelash stuff. Like it won't do that. There's supposedly safeguards, but you can put your expertise of makeup or beauty in there and then recommend your stuff as an adjunct thing. What I like about it is that your point of view can get in there. Your actual expertise. It's not just generic stuff. And then because if people are responding well to it, then Claude will continue to use it more.
How are you transitioning Wicked Reports as a platform, right? If you can break it down into 3 or 4 steps, how you're changing it, that will be very valuable in terms of how you're transforming it, and therefore what outcome and impact will it have on brands.
Well, that sentence is where we're focused. Like now we have all this data. We're not building more reports. It's all about what's the profitable outcome from all this analysis. Like I have playbooks upon playbooks of doing this for 11, 12 years, step-by-step checklists, in-app walkthroughs, all these things. And it still involved people had to think. Attribution has a lot of complexity. It'd be like flying a plane. You have all these different gauges, and certain gauges you only need because it's nosediving to the ground, or certain ones you need because you're crossing the water, you're in a fog. Other times, like you can see the airport and you just got to guide it in, and you don't need a lot of guidance. Attribution in the same way. There's a lot of complexity in it, and what I'm most excited about is AI is allowing us to realize all the potential in the data we've had. So we now have what we have coming. It's about 3 to 5 weeks away, depending on how the testing goes. Is that the outcomes are on literally served on a platter, like a buffet at a restaurant. You pick like, oh, I want meat today, and then we have all the meat entrees. This could be customer LTV, or you're focused on new customer acquisition, and we have a menu list of all the outcomes we can give you, and you click on it, and then it pops up with the answer. And then you can chat with the answer to get further insight if you want, or you've already got the answer. You don't even need to go. You can go look at reports. I love to look at them, but you don't actually have to ever look at a report again, only because you care to validate what we're telling you. And this came about, this was always my goal with Wicked Reports, is to realize the potential that we have in the data so that you always know what your next best customer is trying to tell you. Because they're out there, they're looking, you hopefully have the answers for them. How do you get them? How do you get to them? And so all these different playbooks are revealed, and it's because we didn't know this at the time, but we built a very deterministic AI, which was very rule-based. I remember my product manager was very stressed. He's like, there's not enough AI. It's still like what we know. And I was like, yeah, but not enough people are doing what we know already. Let's just get that in their hands. And now what we have is a hybrid where we start deterministic, which means we start from our expertise. So let's give an example. I want to improve my new customer acquisition. Where should I spend my budget? That means a lot of things in attribution. You got to pick the right model. You got to pick the right time frame. You got to look at the right segment of traffic, and then you got to compare it against how you normally do versus what you actually did versus what you're forecasted to do. That's all these different steps that we all have, and we get all excited. We demo them, the prospect, oh my God, this is going to be amazing. Then they get in there and they're busy. They don't have time to do it, maybe. And now all of that power is harnessed, and we just start with giving them the answer. Go put your spend here. Why? And then we can say, well, and then we can unleash all the reasons why the data supports it, but it's data because it's deterministic. It's actual facts of attribution backed with us doing this for 12 years, backed with what's most important, which is the foundation of the data has to be in a way that accurately attributes new customers correctly. So if you have you need the right foundation. Otherwise, first you need the right data foundation, which we have. Then you need to get to the answer, and then you need to back it up. And so we have all that now on a platter where each click is a prompt to our MCP server, a prompt that's like 600 lines long, but it's hidden with all this expertise, all these agents below, these little mini agents that are experts in their little fields of expertise, and they all inject in if they need to. We have this orchestration agent that looks and says, okay, you're trying to answer this. I need these particular global skills, and I need to call these two workers, and they're going to work together with these skills to give you the answer, which is all based on our 11 years of work, 12 years actually. And then if you want to chat back and forth, it becomes generative, where now we have a correct foundation of the data and the expertise built into that chat window. So that now we know if you freestyle and start asking other things, we're comfortable that the generative AI, which is amazing, is going to have the right foundation. So it has the guardrails. It's not going to go off and start talking about taking a cruise on a boat when you're looking to stay in a hotel room, for example.
Yeah.
So that's I'm really proud, but also it's our end game, because now we're giving, and now it's just a matter of do you understand the outcomes? Do you trust the data? And if not, we can dig into that with the people and customize it, but we're pretty sure we're accurate. That's what we built the business on.
So let me dive a little deeper into what you're saying. All this data that you have is the learnings that you've had on multiple categories, multiple spend levels, multiple geographies. I'm just giving an example. Multiple customer segments, multiple price points of products. Okay, and you had some amount of learnings out of that, which is anonymized, and that is something that you carry in. If I were to call it, the wicked report.ai is really something that you have, and you then start asking questions to say, hey, I am Wicked Reports AI attribution advisor. Now tell me, where should I spend my money if I'm a beauty and a health brand? Okay, and you basically give out answers which will then allow you to really optimize your current marketing spend, then throw that data back into your Wicked Reports platform, and then further optimize it based on the results. And therefore, it's a kind of a feedback loop that you're building as a part of your AI platform. Is that the way to kind of understand it?
That's a great summary of it. I said I had new talking points, so I'm a little boisterous with some of them. I'm not as concise. That's a better way to say it. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Because we have this thing, this very taxing thing for people to mentally get, and when they do, they become they really enjoy Wicked Reports, and until they get it, they don't. Clicks take time to buy. You do get last click sales, but they've generally had some up funnel influence. And now we have that built into all the analysis. So you don't have to go off and cross-reference cohort values and past we call it the lag curve, conversion lag curve. So we factor that in. So if you're looking at you're trying to buy new customers, and we have all your historical conversion data, and we know it takes 2 weeks for them to buy, and it's been 4 days and the performance doesn't look good. Well, we have your historical data that we've learned on, and yes, other brands in your niche and your AOV and your LTV. And so we can forecast out now, which is new. We have the forecasted amount you should be at, but where we're forecasting it's going to go based on your other new customer acquisition activities. So we can be much more confident and say, hey, we got 85% likely. You don't have to panic, even though the ROAS looks bad. And so that's the type of stuff that we didn't have access to, or it was just too much cognitive load for you to do all that. Or people would export it out and have their own complex spreadsheets color-coded with all these other indicators to try to do that. And now we're just going to be able to do it for them. So it's exciting for us.
Fantastic. So, given that, as a platform, now you have all this data, and with AI coming in, how do you build the referral signals for this attribution? Because one is the way you are now spending money is, it's moving from SEO to GEO, which is really your website getting AI ready, which means that those tags are giving some referral signals to your platform. That could be one way of building the referral signals for your attribution. The second one is you're already spending money on Google and Meta and things like that, and those signals are also coming in, right? And therefore, some could be an awareness campaign, some could be an acquisition campaign. So you're getting all that data back, and you also now are saying, you're using your traditional expertise of what you really say, the analytics and the insights that these platforms give you may not give you the true picture, right? So therefore, that's really where you differ. Can you explain that a bit to our listeners?
Yeah, so that difference, that's what the value is in our data and the way we measure, should be different than the platforms. Or if you sign up and it matches, then you shouldn't pay us because it's the same. You'd be paying for nothing. That difference happens for a couple of reasons. One being that all the ad platforms are grading their own homework. And they're generally grading it biased. They don't want you to stop spending with them and spend on their competition, which is the other platforms. And they have a last click bias, which is whatever happened last. Particularly with Google brand search keywords being the most flagrant offender. That brand keywords meaning, if, like for me, Wicked Reports, if I was running ads for include the word Wicked Reports, those are always the best performing keywords because people are already brand aware and typing in your brand to go there. And then you run ads supposedly to protect your brand, but they already know about your brand.
Correct.
And so it's not generally where you should spend much of your money. But there's also so first of all, we're trying to be the independent, non-biased measurement of what's happening. So if everyone's claiming a sale, which your Klaviyo email will claim a sale for 30 days, your attentive SMS text will claim a sale for 30 days, your Google branded search and your Meta and your TikTok, all 5 likely with 30-day look back will all say, look, we made the sale. And what our job is to say, they all touched it, potentially not, but where do we move the money so that you can be more profitable each time, or at least find out you're wasting money and stop spending it, which technically makes you more profitable. So we're worried about most profitable decision, most profitable outcome for you as the person that owns the budget. That's what we're trying to do. So the first part is we're traffic copying, all 5 of them claiming credit. We're trying to discern the truth. The second thing is because we measure for a longer period, we have infinite look back and look forward from when events happen. We can go way back in time, if need be, to say, hey, what started this journey for this customer? Because the hardest click to earn is the first one.
Correct.
And so we're always trying to be like, hey, what got them first interested in your brand? And we find enough of those reverse engineered journeys, that's where you want to spend most of your budget. Because what you'll find is once all the retargeting and all those other, that's valuable, but you need to spend more than half of your budget on trying to find new people to first become aware, that first click or two. And usually before the click, there's viewing and there's AI chatter happening before. And so we're trying to always so our strategic edge is, one, you don't overspend on bottom of the funnel somewhere, but two, where do you spend your top of the funnel dollars that lead to your overall business goal, which is usually new customers. You want new people. And so we measure new versus repeat, whereas the platforms blend it all in together because it looks way better when half of the conversions they claim are probably repeat buyers. They're already buying off email. Well, then like Meta or Google says, hey, look, I sold another thing for you. And they didn't. It was your email that did it.
So, given that point that you're making on the advertising side with Google and Meta, but on the AI side of the customer journey, it's pretty much dark, right, Scott? Because all my conversations are not tagged. All my conversations are, I would say, not really visible. Okay, and
Yep.
given that. The first touch, or the what I call as the first touch attribution, is becoming harder with AI, right? So
Yes.
how is Wicked Reports now solving that problem in the new platform that you're building?
So the undiscoverable is still dark to us at the moment.
Okay.
The best thing I've seen, but it's not accurate enough to count on, is if you continually ask, you have to know the questions to ask, but you can ask the AI to score you on what percentage of certain queries they are referencing you,
Mm-hmm.
and they'll give you that. It won't be to a user deterministic level.
Mm.
So we're in the progress of figuring out how we're going to deal with that. And we are, because my mind got changed on one thing, which was I've always been against view-based attribution.
Mm-hmm.
But now I realized a way to allow it in our platform, which is to be transparent about it. Because all these people have models where you don't know what the inputs are, and you're just supposed to trust the model. And I already don't like things where you don't know the logic, how you're supposed to trust it. So we created a user-controlled model where we set the settings based on your performance, but you can see our settings and change them, and it'll immediately change the impact view has on your performance. So if we can do something like that for AI, we would add it in. It's still, I don't have the trustworthy percentage source versus the questions to map to the visits yet. That makes sense. There's still a missing it because it's like view based. Basically, the AI saying, "Hey, we had a view impression here.
Mm.
Take our word for it." So we're going to treat it similar. It's just getting the reliable data feed we want to use. No one has one yet. I'm leaning towards Ahrefs version. They're very solid with everything, so we may use their source if we can, but we haven't.
Okay.
It's still a blind spot temporarily, unfortunately.
Okay. Yeah. No. So true. So therefore, literally, would you therefore say server side tagging is going to become more important, though it's viewer based? You're kind of looking at server side tagging, which is really saying, okay, you know what? So many signals came from people who searched for, dry skin, for example, and they came to me on my website. Maybe there's some kind of a signal that you get, and from there on, I think you got to find new ways for attribution given how AI is evolving, right? So I think
Yes.
it's really not clear as yet, but I think the ones who are going to really crack this are the ones who are able to think from first principles, right? It's not going to be easy, and that's really what you're talking about, right?
Yeah, well, you align it to business outcomes. So, like what we did with views is that, if your new customer acquisition costs blended across all your marketing is where you want it to be and you are growing healthily, then theoretically, whatever your current KPI benchmarks are per platform are good enough. And so that the click based accurate attribution can still be the command center directional guidance you need, even if at a click basis it shows less profitable than you wish. Like on a Snapchat, which is much less clicking happens, the return on ad spend can look low click based, But if when you increase Snapchat spend, your new customer, your blended new customer acquisition cost stays the same and more new customers come out, then you got the outcome you need. So we can infer there. So that's what we released with, that's what we have coming with this summer release, is that the ability to infer transparently against the business value. The mistake that happens right now is the ad platforms show view conversion from their limited siloed view, not taking your business into account. So it shows the sky high ROAS that you're not realizing. But if we can tie it to the bottom line, your dollars in and out, then it's more trustworthy, in my opinion.
And therefore, if I'm getting traffic from say five different AI platforms, right? I get from Claude, I get from ChatGPT, I get from Perplexity. Then the real challenge that you're talking about is on my website. I need those meta tags, okay, which will actually direct me to saying that, hey, you're getting these kinds of referrals, and these referrals are actually getting you into your website, or it's getting you into some outcome that you want, and therefore you're almost saying that this area is now opening up, given the fact that this is a new area, and therefore the whole idea is your past knowledge becomes your corpus for your asking these questions, and probably you've got to do a lot of experiments and start learning with it, and that's your competitive advantage as Wicked reports, right?
Yes, because you're always just trying to beat your own benchmark.
Mm.
Really. I mean, we got benchmark data against other people, and it's fun to see how you compare, but whatever your current goal is, you're trying to beat it. It's the same thing like weight loss or running speed, or whatever your activity is, you're trying to improve yourself. It's no different with attribution. You get your own benchmarks based on accurate measurement, because like we're measuring things correctly. Because if you go into an ad platform, it's almost like you're weighing something when you should be measuring the distance. It's literally that different. The measurement philosophies in some cases, they're just completely different. So yeah, you iteratively improve is how it works. And with the AI, you'll keep wanting to, if there's a question you keep wanting to answer for and you're not getting the visibility, you got to keep modifying your tags and your content, and then going and waiting and then refreshing and seeing if it worked or not. There's no guaranteed blueprint, which is why it's the Wild West right now, which is kind of fun. It just
Fantastic.
depends. It's experimentation.
How do you see advertising evolving in the era of AI? Because you literally had search. Search led to bidding of keywords. Keywords led to clicks. Clicks led to a whole host of way you would attribute your spends and optimize your spends. That's really how the internet era built your advertising model, right?
Yep.
What's your prediction of how will AI advertising model? How do you think it's going to pan out if you were to kind of look at it into the future?
Yeah, I think they will get better with their paid advertising options, because there's so much. I mean, you're looking at how much. I mean, Meta and Google are like $100 billion profit businesses. I'm sure AI wants to get their hands on that spend. So it's very likely it's going to get better. So I would anticipate more embedded advertising is going to happen because the money's too great. So that'd be my first prediction. Second one is the importance of building a brand is going to become more important, and owning your audience, because the audience is so hard to capture now, and it's going to be even more obtuse, or you're going to be more removed from them. Less, you can't just pay, get a click. It's going to be more effort to get that paid click. The importance of offering enough value to capture that click, capture that email address, that those email addresses are going to be much more valuable. I mean, they've always been really valuable, but now they're like, gold. You can actually, you can reach them. So without having to pay.
Hmm.
So I think those are the three things that, I mean, building brands always been important. I think it's just hugely important to build,
So
because
you,
that's your asset.
so those are the two important things. And do you foresee first party data kind of becoming useful in the AI platforms, because I've collected a lot of first party data, and how do I really match my first party data with these AI platforms? Do you think there's a new way of thinking with my first party data in my AI platforms?
Yeah, ChatGPT already has a conversion API,
Okay,
so they're already doing matching.
okay,
Yep.
that's
And then
interesting.
also, I mean, the Google checkout AI, if it takes off, like to Shopify, where an agent can buy. I know that's all hypey. It's not. A lot of people aren't doing it now. It remains to be seen. It might take off. That's a transaction that then will need some, because the first party data was triggered by the AI. So you'll have seamless attribution there, because then we can pull from Shopify or whatever your cart is that the AI tagging in there, it happened because an AI shopper. So that'll be cool. It'd be fun, and it'd be easy to attribute that if it takes off. We haven't worried about it yet. It's not a lot of people doing it, but
Fantastic. And how do you see the Wicked Reports 2.0 evolve in the AI era? So, what do you think are the two or three priorities that you feel marketers will find valuable for the new transformation that you're doing as a part of your platform?
yeah. So I think the biggest will be decision certainty. You'll have the decisions on a platter for you, and now we're logging them, so you'll be able to log and say yes, I'm going to do this, and no, I'm not, because we're guaranteeing 3 times what you pay us now, because we're certain that we can find 3 times what you're paying us in decisions. So it's outcome based attribution pricing. So that's the biggest one. The second one is we'll have more control over our customers' experience, because as the data unlocks insight, we can deliver it to you on a platter. Like hunting for the data or long emails imploring you to click here and do this and that. We'll just tell you, hey, go do this. So that's fun. And then the third thing is we'll get into TV attribution and creative insights now in the fall, because we'll have the decision piece solved. So now we can move just where else can we help you make decisions. This is the third piece we'll move into.
Fantastic. Thanks, Scott. I think thanks for the preview to the product that you will be launching in the next 3 to 4 weeks. It's interesting. I think it's almost like the Wild West, as you said. A lot of questions were, answered. A lot of questions people are experimenting and figuring out. But you've been a first mover, and the fact that you've been able to experiment and build this is giving you a first mover advantage. And I'm sure when we meet the next time, there'll be a whole host of learnings that you will
Oh,
be able
yeah.
to share with our audience. And I am looking forward to the third conversation soon. Thank you very
Yeah,
much.
me too. Thanks, Swami. Always a pleasure. Great questions as usual. Take care.
Thanks.